Product provided by Nintendo.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 43 of the podcast. Episode 43. That's right. This is the 43rd entry in our now semi-simply weekly podcast here on youtube.com/directly to you. As always, if you guys want to become channel members, you can do that for $5. Or you can support the podcast, you can do that anywhere between $1 to $10. And yeah, good stuff there. It's all over the place,
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe.
All that good stuff. All the good stuff you guys know you should do. But yeah, I mean, just jumping off. I mean, what have you been up to? I seen you 2 days ago with the stream.
Oh yeah. Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers. That's pretty much it. Smash Brothers and like channel stuff. But for the most part, Smash Brothers. If I'm not editing a video, writing a script, planning a stream, or doing anything like that, I'm playing Smash Brothers. Which is it's crazy because I have. My favorite thing about this game is that all of our YouTube friends and stuff are streaming it, and I just putting my imprint on the game just so everybody at the very least everybody's like, oh, AJ's pretty good at this game. Stopping by at the OKB stream and stuff like that, oh, Blessing's playing, let me play him a little bit in Smash, and everybody, because they were doing 4-player matches, and they're like, man, somebody stop this man. So it's stuff like that. I enjoy that. Because it's noted that we both pride ourselves on how well we play Smash. We're by no means competitive level, but we're right below that.
Man, speak for yourself. I'm about to go to Evo next. No. But,
what's your GSP right now?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, no. It's just, it would be higher, but I just I haven't been playing a whole lot.
I don't know.
16. No. I'm at 1.6 million. So
yeah, I mean playing a whole lot's not really an excuse though. I feel like the least you play, the better your GSP is, because it's it raises as everybody else raises. So say you get to Elite Smash and you never touch it again, you'll stay in Elite Smash the whole time. So it's
yeah. I don't think you should ever be able to lose it. I don't know. It's just dumb to me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that you lose it. You shouldn't be able to lose it that easily. You need to be messing up. You lose once and get knocked out. That's kind of weird. But
yeah, right. Because that literally happened to me. I won the and I lost twice. But the way I lost the first match was literally, first of all, it was a 4-player match, which in Elite Smash is stupid. Yeah. And then I got teamed up on. So I was in Elite Smash and these people had to team up on me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So they ended up, of course, naturally I lost. And then I lost against Ridley after that, which, no complaints there. Fair and square, whatever. But the first one, I'm like, what? That's crazy.
Right. When I lost my Elite Smash, I mean, I don't even, it was weird that I even got it. Because, I was... From when I started, it was the first day or maybe the day after that I got into Elite Smash with Corrin. And at that time, I literally touched no other fighter but the Inkling, period. That's it. Well, the Inkling and Kirby and World of Light for that, for a couple matches and that. Because at that time, I hadn't even really dived into that. But for the most part, I was playing with just the Inkling. And I was like, I'm going to play with Corrin and see how I do there. And I just won 4 matches in a row and immediately was in freaking World of Light. I mean, Elite Smash. And then I just was like, all right, cool. And I left it like that. And then eventually I went back and I played it again with Corrin and I lost 1 match and immediately got knocked out. I was like, jeez.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And then since then, most of when I play Smash is in arena matches. So that's why I was saying I don't think that the amount of time you put in that way, playing playing online matches longer or more doesn't contribute to you doing better more than it will with you doing worse. Unless as you play you're learning more about the character that you're playing, which is rare. A lot of times you're going to get in your way more often than not if you play a lot. But yeah, I freaking got back in there with Inkling today, and I don't plan to leave it because and usually we don't like do stuff like that. Like I know a lot of people are like trying to like get good in Smash, so they're like following people like Zero and all that crap. I saw one video that Zero did, and it didn't like reinvent the wheel or anything. Like a lot of stuff that he said in the video I was doing anyway. But there's one thing that was really my only problem with Inkling from the beginning that was like this like eye-opening moment where I was like, oh shoot, you can do that, and it's how you can cancel out of the roller. Whereas like before I knew you could cancel by jumping out of it, and that was my only way to do it when I first started playing the game. Eventually I figured out you could just press B. Which is what I've been doing up until now. But the crazy thing that he was doing was he jumps out of the roller to cancel and air dodges directly into the opponent. So it's like that's like an immediate punish. Like it puts you in range to forward smash, and if you like dodge back far enough, you can up smash. It's crazy. And since then, it's like I just been destroying people.
Wow.
Yeah, because that was really my only weak point. It was like there would be a lot of times where, like you saw, like when we were playing the team matches, like I racked up the most potentials to kill, but I couldn't go and kill them because I'm circling back around like to get the kill. And now I know, like, oh shoot, I can just dodge right into them, and it's like an immediate punish if it's timed right. Which with online, you know, like that's iffy sometimes, but for the most part, it's consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen any of Zero's videos or anyone like any competitive player videos. It just, you know, kind of just like as you go, you just pick up different things and adapt to certain things. The thing that I've done as far as just like learning the mechanics more and like learning to work with the mechanics of the game. Like before, like when I was first, I was trying to adjust to it and get used to it naturally, but. I'd say within like a week or so of playing it consistently, I was like, all right, now I know when to essentially like do the wave dash as it was, whatever the actual term for that this mechanic is in this game. I don't use it after a certain height because of the so if I'm like parallel to the stage and I'm like I'm close to it, I'll be like, okay, I'll if I feel like I can reach the stage, I'll do that. But I will not after like if I'm like knocked up super high, I'm not gonna wave dash onto the ground because like that leaves me vulnerable. That was something I had to.
Are you talking about the area like you're talking about the dodge specifically, not wave, because wave dashing is something different. Like that's the area, the movement area. Yeah, that part. So I learned to work with that and use it as part of like as far as like more than like when I have to use it defensively to recover, I can do that like when I'm close to the stage, like wow, I feel safe. Or like I've been doing like I'm using it more offensively now. Like now I'm just like okay, I can get around you in a way that I can I don't have to dodge roll as much, and that helped me out a lot. Yeah.
Look at me giving the people all the my freaking.
I think the biggest thing for you is like it would be almost weird if you looked up guides on how to play, because every character that you play have always been in the game. So it's like it's not like this whole thing of like, oh man, how does Mario work? He's always been in the game and he's pretty much the same.
Yeah, true. I mean, there's always things you can like in order to like refine your play style, but at the same time, it's like because I'm sure freaking, of course, like Zero, he's freaking crazy. Yeah. He probably
it's like because for me, like
how you combo this
because I never really like when I looked at it, it was more of like there has to be a way for this roller to be more reliable, like to figure out how the roller itself works, less of like I need to learn combos and stuff. Like I just wanted to know like how to cancel out of that reliably, because it's kind of like it seems like it's only useful, or at least it did at the time. It seemed like it was only useful if people had really high percents, because they could just mash out of it most times, and like the ability to punish is completely squandered. Especially since if you look at it from like somebody that plays the Inkling, it's obvious how many weaknesses, because a lot of people think that the roller is broken, but there's a lot of ways to like easily avoid the roller. So it's like, with how easy that is to avoid, there has to be an easier way to like make good on that punish than to just like hope that you cancel out in time and run back to them. So yeah, it was like,
right.
for stuff like that. But outside of that, have you really messed around with any other modes, or you just been playing like quick play?
Mainly quick play. Well, I mean, when I'm over, playing with Lance or Joel, it's like if you guys don't know, they were a part of our streams. They were part of the
they were in the Mario Party stream.
Right.
Maybe we'll do a. We did say we wanted to do. Well, I don't know how that works because I haven't done it yet. But like the squad strikes or whatever, we're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah. We could.
Is that a 4-player thing?
Yeah. Well, the way that works is really cool because like you can do it that way because you can set it to where say.
I guess we could like manually be like, all right, we'll do the 2v2 thing and then say, okay, these are the characters that we're picking or whoever, or we just like trade off and it'll be like a team thing almost.
Right, and it's cool because you can change controllers.
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to use, and that's, it's awesome. But yeah, that would definitely work. And those modes are cool for offline. But outside of that, when I'm like by myself, it's like okay, online. Or I haven't touched World of Light like at all really.
Yeah.
I only unlocked Mario and Marth, and then after that, I haven't played. It's just I don't know. I don't want to make it seem like it's a bad mode. I don't know.
It feels kind of pointless to me too. Where it's like the only reason why I did play it was because I thought that there would be some type, like everybody was talking like there's like this crazy ending that's like every Smash Brothers fan has to see or whatever, and it's like there's one cool moment, but I don't think it's worth playing through 20 hours of this mode. That may be different for some people, but for me it was just like I feel like I kind of wasted my time doing that at the end of the day. And I could have been doing way better things. That time would have been spent way better if I was just like, all right, let me play online and do quick play. I would have had way more people in the Elite Smash.
So I hear that it's, and you can give your opinion on this because I wouldn't know, but I heard it gets challenging.
No, it
doesn't.
It doesn't. You can cheese every single fight in that. There are like a couple like and it's random, so it's not like a thing of like it gets hard, like, and like if when I think of somebody saying, man, this mode gets really hard, it's like it's a progression. There are random spikes of like, man, this challenge seems impossible, but for the most part it's a general like you can cheese everything with spirits, and even the ones that are crazy difficult you could cheese with spirits, or just because the AI is not good. Like I'd say maybe 4 spirits on the in World of Light where I'm like, man, this is pretty difficult. They just off themselves, so it's like, all right, well. Wow. And then like the final fight is like a final fight, like it's not like it's harder than the rest of the things except for like those random impossible things, but it doesn't feel impossible in those same ways. Like I would say I had a spirit battle with I think it was Pauline. I think Pauline specifically. It's like Peach, and her whole thing is she runs away from you, and you got to fight a DK and a Mario, and I think it's timed. It's like you have like a minute or something like that to beat them, and it's on Donkey Kong stage. That one was pretty hard to do, but she killed herself. The final boss is like not as hard as that, but it's hard.
Oh, okay. All right. I think a part of it, and like unfairly so, I'm like, this isn't Subspace Emissary, and I think a lot of that comes from the suspense that a lot of us we were all around, like, okay, what is this? Right. And I mean that reveal with the whole these are spirits and this whole mechanic, it felt it was like a winded. They spent a lot of time on that. I don't know. It kind of just took the sail out of that final direct for me. I was like,
yeah.
And then now I'm just like, I don't really.
And I mean, we talked about this, and I tweeted this out when I originally beat it. But yeah, I don't think that. I definitely think Subspace is better. I don't think that either one of those modes are like particularly good, like I'm not like if I'm talking to somebody that like really like enjoys the mechanics of Smash Brothers and they're like a pro player or whatever, I'm not like, you gotta play Subspace or whatever. Like Subspace is good because it's like the cinematic qualities of it. That's what made it worth playing,
right?
Because you get to see like all these different characters interact in this way. But the gameplay of it was like, meh. I would say World of Light's gameplay is better, but it's still not worth like carving out time to play outside of everything else. And that's really like, there's nothing about it that I would say is a driving force to like recommend that other people play it,
Like this, the online is good, but World of Light, play that,
Yeah, exactly. Like I will go up to anybody that's like a fan of Nintendo and would tell them like, yo, you got to experience Subspace Emissary because of the cutscenes and stuff like that. But this mode doesn't really have anything like that.
Yes, I mean, say guys, say what you will about Brawl, as far as like where it stands in the where it will stand in the legacy of Smash, but Subspace is definitely a freaking watermark moment in
for sure
the series.
Definitely.
But yeah, more Smash. We're definitely be playing more Smash. Actually, after this podcast episode wraps up, I'm gonna boot it back up, and I'm gonna try to get at least Smash again. Now, the thing about it is, I
thought you were saying that we were going to play. I was like, oh shoot, are we doing? Is this a thing? Are we?
I mean, we can do that. I just seem to switch with my characters. It's weird because like. Mario actually, as I said before, wasn't the one who got the Elite Smash for me at first. It was actually Zelda. Yeah. Mario is now beating Zelda in GSP, but Zelda is also tied with Pit in GSP.
That's
I know.
But I was doing really good with. But I mean, this isn't a crazy surprise to you because like I played you with King K. Rool. But I was doing really good with King K. Rool, and I wasn't expecting because I don't like him. Like I like him to play as him, but it's not a character that I'm like, ooh, he's cool. Like I don't really care about King K. Rool in that way.
Yeah.
Freaking! I gotta send you or cut when you edit this. You don't gotta cut this out, but when you edit this, put the product provided by Nintendo from my Smash Brothers video. Put that directly in front of like where the podcast starts. So because that way we prefaced it. But anyway, product provided by Nintendo.
Cool.
But yeah, so like. It's weird what characters I end up being really good with, just like innately, not necessarily because like I put a lot of time in. Like Inkling's the only character that like I dumped a bunch of time in. Is like I'm forcing myself to be good at this character. Everybody else is just their play style and like having like the understanding of like the fundamentals of Smash Brothers and having fought other people that use them. Being able to be good with them. But
yeah,
I was trying to figure out how to segue into this topic, but
speaking of Smash, there's a lot of third-party characters, and speaking of third-party,
no, you can't. It could have been better than that. I was hoping that you were going to say, who I like really gravitated toward. I'm really gravitating towards Simon or something like that. That would have been a good. A good on ramp for that. But anyway, forget the segue. Nintendo's third part. What's his official title? Senior Manager of Publisher and Developer Relations. Daemon Baker.
That's a winded title.
Yeah. Well, it basically just means he's in charge of all of the games, like acquiring or like supporting the relationships with developers so that they can put stuff on Nintendo Switch, and that goes from indies to the major third parties. He was like the head of that. So like you've seen like the Nindy Directs and stuff like that. It's that dude. He's leaving Nintendo for a different position. I don't know where and I don't know what. But the thing about him leaving that is interesting is like since he's joined, Nintendo's third party support I would say has been the best that it's ever been. Like maybe with the exception of GameCube and like obviously NES and SNES where they had like, or really NES where they had like a stranglehold on it. But as far as like where there was competition that has like a stake in the game, like like they're reputable, and a developer wouldn't be scared to put their thing on there. You know, like
Right,
Nintendo's
right,
usually the one that people are least likely to go to. But now, after the work that this guy's put in and the rest of the team, obviously, there's been a lot of third-party support. So the thing that I'm questioning is if this changes that at all, because like during his tenure at the company, their whole vision for Nintendo Switch has been to be a Steam, you know, where it's like just everything is on this. Like
Yeah. I can see that. That's a very fair. That's a great comparison. But yeah.
yeah. So I'm trying to figure out if this changes that. Like I know he says he posted a statement on Twitter, I think. And in that statement, he's basically like, they're going to continue to carry the torch. Obviously, like this isn't just me that does this position, you know, like there's a whole team that does this, and this is like the company that is the driving force behind this, not necessarily me. But I mean, that can be said about a lot of things, you know, where it's like a lot of companies say like, oh, once this person leaves, then this won't change. Like a Steve Jobs, you know, like it's that like we're not that deep into like how this company operates in that way. But Steve Jobs, for instance, is a departure to a company that gutted how a company operated. Like him being gone completely changed how the company works now.
Yeah, right. Right.
And I'm trying to see, like, will their approach to third parties change in any way? Like, could it get better even?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to think about, because you said he facilitated like the relationship between these developers and Nintendo, and he like basically brought on. That's interesting. I didn't. Yeah, I mean. I guess only time will tell. It's definitely worth thinking about. I like the direction, you know, everything's been going, and so far, and seeing. I mean, I imagine it would get, you know, it would get better. I don't think it would change. It's going to change much, but
I wonder if the like. I'd imagine that the third party support is going to get better just by like the notion of the fact that like Switch is in such a better position sales wise and like support, and like the player base is a lot more varied than it used to be. Like before, putting a third party game on Nintendo consoles was pretty close to a death nail if you weren't like a Japanese role playing game. But now it's like, if you look at the eShop top 10 or whatever, like a lot of that is likely to be a whole bunch of third-party games, and unless it's like the month that a Nintendo game came out, you'd be surprised to see any of them on there. You know,
we're getting Mortal Kombat in April.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's crazy. Now I think about it. So, and that's a huge title for a day and date. You know,
right?
It's freaking crazy. So I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, and I wonder if. And like whoever they bring on to do this position next, or maybe promote into like his position specifically, if they would push the envelope on like the streaming stuff here, because I know like
I didn't even think that. Oh man,
like I know for a lot of
awesome.
people it wouldn't really work out because a lot of people don't have like the internet that we do, but selfishly, I would like to put my gigabit internet speeds to good use. So I would like for them to do this. And also,
I mean, plus it would help content, so it would just be awesome.
I know.
I mean, just, you know, it's also like unselfishly, in fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I'm sorry, what you saying? You said also.
But the thing about that is like that would have to come part and parcel with other departments in Nintendo, because like I don't know if there's a cap on the Switch Wi-Fi or if it's just a technical limitation of the Switch. But like it seems like the wireless card is like capped at 50 megabits or something like that. At least that's the speeds that I get on mine, is around that, like tops, which is weird. I've seen higher when you do it wired. So maybe that's like the way to go if they do pursue streaming in like other territories that aren't Japan. But I would really like if that's a part of like whoever the next person is to take the helm of that position. If that's a big part of their goal.
Yeah, I definitely think that that would just be awesome to see because like that would open up so many different avenues on top of it because like that is one key component that we're missing as of right now, and it's not something that's like it's like a crippling thing, but I mean it would be nice to see to see that aspect being brought into this onto the Switch.
Yeah, and, for sure. Because I mean at this point it used to be a thing of like, man, that would be cool if that came to the Switch. But now at this point, it's kind of like, seriously, seriously. If you're not putting the effort in to put whatever this game is on the Switch, you're messing up at this point. It's not a thing of like, oh, the audience might not embrace it. Oh, it's not powerful enough or whatever. Like, nah, it's like engines are scalable. A lot of people want games like this on the Switch now, and that's been proven. So you just do it.
Yeah, before it seemed like, okay, these guys are like throwing Nintendo a bone, but now it's like a symbiotic relationship where it's like, okay, not only we're helping you too. Don't get it twisted. Right. Our install base is huge, and this is a super popular console, and people are loving it, and
yeah, like just in like less than 2 years, Switch is already within striking distance of Xbox One. That's insane.
That's insane.
So it's like,
and that just speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And even the article that we put up last week about what was it? The outsold like what we said, was it Vita or what was that?
Vita, yeah, Vita in Japan.
Yeah, which is nuts. So like all these milestones that is surpassing already in this short lifespan. It's crazy, and I'm so excited for the future because we have such a long time to go. And who knows what we're going to see. Smash is already out. We love Smash, but 2019 and 2020.
I don't know about Smash. I don't know about Smash. Smash is like one of those games that's like you don't know if you like it. You don't know if it, you know what I'm saying?
Hashtag Melee's better.
Oh my God! Don't even because like so many people genuinely believe that.
We're gonna create the hashtag.
But I think that's a good segue to talk about, since we're talking about the Switch's numbers and stuff like that. So Nintendo had this like really lofty goal at the tail end of, or maybe even it was like the beginning of this fiscal year. So around like March, they wanted to be able to shift 20 million Switches. So 20 million more Switches. At the time they were around, I think like 15 million, somewhere around that number. And they wanted to be at 30 something by this March coming up. Wow. It looks like I think that they might be able to hit it because we don't have final numbers for holiday and stuff like that. And this isn't even the last quarter before that. So we have this quarter, which will end, I think, at the end of this month. Or maybe at the end of January or something like that. But it's until March. We have until March 31st until that whole thing wraps up and they say, okay, what's the final tally? And I think we're like 8 million off or something like that, or maybe even less than that. I don't know because we don't know.
If we're only 8 million off, then yeah, that's definitely doable.
And then the other part of their goal was 100 million software units. They think that they're going to hit the 100 million. But they're less sure that they're. And the important thing to note here is that they're not adjusting it. They're not saying like, oh, well, we think the new target is 15 million or whatever. They're just saying like, we're less sure about this. They're not saying like we're not going to hit it. They're saying we maybe not, but in the Wii U days, it would be like our initial goal was something like super low, like 3 million or whatever, and we're adjusting it to 1.5 million. Like they're not doing that. They're just saying like, I don't know, maybe, or not even a maybe. This reads more to me like a probably, like whereas before.
Yeah, all things considered, it looks like all signs are pointing toward this actually happening.
Yeah,
especially. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like with Smash's success, which I'm sure you're going to like bring up and stuff like that. Like the fact that Smash Brothers sold 5 million units in 3 days. To put that into perspective. For the PlayStation 4, both God of War and Spider-Man, they like leapfrogged each other, where it's like God of War was the fastest selling PlayStation 4 exclusive, and then Spider-Man beat it out by like a couple 100,000 units or whatever. That was under 4 million. And like that's on a console with an installed base of like 90 million or whatever, close to it at least. We're talking about a console with less than a third of that, and it almost like doubled that. You know, like that's insane.
Yeah, that's freaking.
And a little bit further than that. So like the first 3 days, it was the 5 million worldwide. 11 days into Smash Brothers' life, it sold 3 million just in the U.S. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And man, we need to. Oh, man, I know this is going to create a storm, but I don't even care. We need to put this to bed. Ultimate is the best Smash Bros. Game. Like, can we put that? Can we put this to bed? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're going to hold on. I mean, I feel like the people that are going to hold on to Melee, they're going to hold on no matter what.
Yeah.
But this is the most like mechanically sound. You know, like, there's just so many. It's just the perfect blend of everything. It's just crazy. This game is just so freaking good. It's crazy. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agreed from the jump that it was going to be better anyway. Just because, like, for me, Smash Brothers games always get better. I think that, again, Brawl is like a weird point where it's like I can see an argument for that maybe being a step back as far as like mechanics go. Because they did like try to make it more casual, which in and of itself means that I would argue that doesn't make it worse. It just makes it a different experience. Like they weren't shooting for what you wanted them to. That doesn't mean that the game's not good. That just means the game's not what you wanted it to be. And for me, I mean, we still had a lot of fun, like more competitive matches, and it didn't make us any worse. I would say that Brawl is probably like on the precipice of when we started taking Smash Brothers more seriously.
Definitely. I see Brawl as like back in Melee. I was using items and all that. I was a kid,
right?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get freaking crazy good at this series. Right. Brawl. I was still using items every once in a while. But I mean, more to you're right. I was taking a lot more serious than Wii U. I was okay. I was out of here.
Exactly.
I definitely.
Like now, it's not even a consideration with us. Like there's some people out like, all right, let's turn items on. Like my uncle AC, like he's somebody that's like, okay, yeah, let's put the items on. Let's do whatever random stage or whatever. But for the most part, Smash Bros. Is nope, no items. We're going on Omega or Battlefield. Period. No discussion. I don't want none of these random like circumstances that's going to make you win or me win or whatever. Like nobody should be winning unless it's because of their skill, and not because you got cheesed by the stage or whatever. Just to put like Smash Brothers sales in perspective, just that, like just the fact that it sold, like the 3 million units in the first. In the U.S. alone, in the first 11 days, that would make it the 5th best selling Switch game, just based off of the U.S. sales. That's with insane. The numbers that we have so far.
That's insane.
This, I wouldn't be surprised if this game passed 10 million by the end of this year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it be the best-selling Switch game, full stop, before March. Because right now, the best-selling Switch game is Super Mario Odyssey at 12.17 million units. And I think that...
Oh, it passed... Cause for a while, that was... Mario Kart Deluxe? Was that?
I think it might have been Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for a little bit. But for the longest time, it was Breath of the Wild, and then like Mario Kart was like creeping up on it.
Mm-hmm. But, right, those three were really close, close proximity with each other.
Yeah,
it's crazy that Mario Odyssey regained. It's like, all right, I'm back.
Mario Odyssey sold insane numbers. Like it sold like 9. It was at like 10 million within 3 months. I think maybe a little bit longer than that, but it was at 10 million real fast.
I think that game's incredible.
Yeah,
it's like the ultimate version. Like that what this is to Smash is like what that was to. And it's in so many different like new mechanics. That game is just so freaking good. Yeah. Timeless.
And it's impressive because it's like usually 3D Mario games don't do that. And that's the thing. Now, like I was talking to Justin, because like I always get in these sales discussions with Justin. He's not very good at predicting these sales things. This is not his forte. But like,
we have recorded evidence.
Yeah, several different. Like he said that he didn't think Spider-Man was going to sell. I'm like, all right, this just isn't your thing. Let's not talk sales. Let's talk like design and like let's stick to what you're good at. Because like this is an uphill battle for you at this point. But he was talking about how he doesn't know if like Smash Brothers is going to be one of the best-selling Switch games, and he doesn't know if it's going to.
Okay, all right. I heard all I need to hear.
Yeah. So it was like, because Smash Brothers, like he was saying that like Smash Brothers Wii U or whatever didn't sell well in comparison to like Brawl and stuff like that. And it's like, you're talking
the install base is not even close.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Wii U didn't even sell as many like hardware units as Brawl sold in software. So it's like, duh, but as far as that whole thing, like I think it's pretty safe to say that's squashed. Like this is going to by far be the best-selling Smash Brothers game. It's not an accurate comparison to like look at past experiences, because Smash Brothers was in like different positions and like as far as like how many people embraced it, where it's like
it's exactly like this is way more famous now,
right on top of the fact that there's no caveats. It's not a thing of like, I don't want to play this on 3DS, I don't want to buy a Wii U just for this, like this is a console that everybody wants and it's a game that everybody wants. So it's like, this game is going to sell better than any other Smash game. It doesn't make sense to look at past ones and say like, oh, well, this one sold this much, so that means, or like with his line of thought for Pokemon Let's Go, where he was like, oh, well, in the past, Pokemon console games did X, Y, and Z, and it's like, yeah, but this isn't the same situation. It's clearly going to be different.
Yeah, I mean, at times it's very good to look at past occurrences and then from that try to
it's good when those comparisons are apples to apples, right? Like if it was a thing of saying like, oh, I think Pokemon was whatever the Diamond and Pearl remakes are going to be called, I think that they're going to sell this because this is what the last remake did, like that's apples to apples. But there hasn't been a game like Pokemon Let's Go before. It just, full stop, hasn't happened. Like there's never been a console Pokemon RPG in this way, where it's not like the caveat that's there is how you catch Pokemon, not in like how the game is structured. Like Pokemon Let's Go is a Pokemon game through and through, and like with the modus operandi is or whatever, of like, this is the whole goal of the game, is like to build your own team and to get all the 8 badges and to beat the Elite Four and all that stuff. Like that's never happened on console before, and it's never like, we've never had a console with a Pokemon game that has had this, that has been this embraced, like every Pokemon console game has been on a console, with the exception of Battle Revolution, which again is like a Pokemon Stadium kind of thing, but has been on a console that has a low install base, N64, GameCube. But we haven't had one where everybody's like all gung-ho about the console, and also it being this RPG. So it's like, it just didn't make sense to like try to compare it to past Pokemon games in that way.
Yeah, right. You speak about people being gung-ho and not comparing old things to the new thing, and things being widely accepted, and something that was widely accepted was Breath of the Wild, and it's very interesting. I
was like, I legitimately didn't know you were going with that.
Yeah, something that was well accepted was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, as I spoke about in the last podcast, and as has been rumored, Nintendo is planning to drop a Zelda game every single year. And we look like we are on really good track to having that actually come to fruition. We have, obviously, the groundbreaking Breath of the Wild 2017. And 2018, this year we have the Hyrule Warriors. I mean, even though you guys may or may not count that game, I personally, It's Dynasty with a Hyrule skin. It counts. It counts.
Some people in the comments brought up that like they're like, oh, I don't think that this game will come out in 2019, blah blah. I don't know if this specific game will come out in 2019 either. But I don't think it's interesting to dedicate a whole video to be like, I hope that they do Skyward Sword HD, and I hope that they do Wind Waker, and I hope it's like, eventually we're going to get a follow-up to Breath of the Wild, and next year is what we have. So let's talk about it in the context of, like, what if it did, you know, like, but yeah, I mean,
right.
And
so,
what were you saying?
No, well, I was just going to dig into your video more.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I like how you brought up how, and I completely agree that, you know, the draw of this game, Breath of the Wild, was to look at this world, and this is the take this all in, and it's you want to explore this world, and that's the whole of it, the entirety, and then your journey across however you may end up completing your quest, you can do so, but there is definitely lacking depth as far as the shrines, and I like how you mentioned that in the video as well, incorporating the temples in the next game and make them a part of, bring back those diverse temples that made the older game so fun, and I think that would just be a perfect mesh of these two ideas, that having these things like coming together would just be incredible.
Right.
But I mean, in the meantime, I'll completely not be against Skyward Sword if that is what we end up seeing next year, or Wind Waker HD, which I'm hoping for again. But we kind of seen Wind Waker already. We've seen that.
Yeah, I don't want Wind Waker. I mean, I have Wind Waker. I can play Wind Waker right now. I mean, technically, I could do the same thing with Skyward Sword, but I can play a revised version of Wind Waker right now easily.
I'd much rather Skyward Sword. So
same.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as 2D, I mean, I know you focused primarily on 3D for the video. As far as 2D Zelda games go, could they go, okay, here's a freaking Minish Kappa or something crazy like that. Here's a play more to the Switch's portable sensibilities. Okay, here is I'm trying to think of the freaking
like a Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, a Link Between Worlds, like Phantom Hourglass type esque.
I think we'll definitely get that eventually. They've said them as much themselves, where it's like, yeah, we'll make 2D Zelda games in the future, and we'll put them on Switch. As far as when, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know what they're doing with Zelda. They're not really telegraphing that. Like, all we know is that, like, obviously Breath of the Wild did super well. So I think that puts Zelda in a different tier, where it's like Zelda has always been like an important franchise that has done pretty well for Nintendo, but it's never really been a Mario, where it's like Nintendo fans look at Zelda like it's a Mario. But if you look at the numbers, it doesn't really sell like that. You're not going to get Breath of the Wild was the exception, not the rule. Not every Zelda game sells 10 million units. In fact, I'm pretty sure Breath of the Wild is the only one to do it with one SKU. So, like, just the Switch version alone sold 10 million. Like, Ocarina of Time, I think, passed 10 million, but it was with the help of the Wii re-release and, like, being on 3DS and, like, all that stuff.
Right.
But Breath of the Wild is, like, the first time that's ever happened. Period. Mario always does it. It's almost weird if Mario doesn't hit 10 million, even for the 3D games, which are more like, I don't know if you'll get there, Mario, but like,
right.
For Zelda, like, this kind of puts it in a different light. I think that this is a watershed moment for Zelda, especially if they continue on that path, like in the same way that like Smash Brothers progressively it was groundswell support, where it's like they progressively sold better because each time somebody's friend said, man, this series is great, so it's like more and more people's friends bought the game, and obviously like more kids are born and like come into age to play a game like that and stuff like that. I think Breath of the Wild is going to have a similar effect on whatever the next Zelda game, and get Zelda games even after that, how they're going to do.
Yeah, it definitely tipped the scale, and like is a paradigm shift of like just like it's the perception of Zelda. It's it's gonna be a lot more like it's funny, but it's gonna be like from the people who brought you Breath of the Wild,
exactly.
even though they've been making Zelda games for forever. It's just funny that'll literally be how people look at it. Like, man, they made Breath of the Wild, and this is gonna be good,
right.
So I think that'd be very interesting to see. I'm excited for the next full-fledged Zelda game.
Yeah, because that's just been a thing, especially like on our channel in particular. Like, just for games overall. Or like if Breath of the Wild is possible, like imagine what else people could do if they really looked at their franchise and saw like the core of what made it special and expanded from there, rather than saying
Fire
like
Emblem.
Every game ever, Pokemon, F-Zero, whatever game, insert X game, and that game can be improved because it a lot of people thought prior to Breath of the Wild that you had to be this crazy juggernaut for a company to put this much time and effort into the game. But like I said, like Zelda's never really been that. Like it hasn't been a Mario. It's not a Pokemon,
Right.
But they still put that much time and attention into the game, and it became a game with that much acclaim because of how good the game is. It wasn't because of the franchise. It was because of the game itself. And I think that applying that even further to like, oh, this is like not only like in a world where this game exists, this is in a series where this other game exists. So we gotta do better, or we gotta at least do that.
Right.
I think it's how a lot of people view it. So I think that they'll buy in for that reason.
And speaking of things we at least got to do, I at least got to get to some of these comments. All right. No, we're going to start out with Parker Lark. He also makes a second appearance in this podcast episode because he had something to say on my video as well that he always puts the thoughtful.
I was gonna like if I would have saw that, I'd have gave him the kibosh. I don't want to give Parker Lark too much power. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, he has it's way too much power.
He's gonna get power hungry, right? Exactly. He's like, I run the episode now. Here's the outlet. He's gonna send us the freaking outlet.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes on to say, I do really hope that when Nintendo says a new Zelda game every year, they do mean it like they have in the past several years and along similar lines that Pokemon does. Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time, but I would by no means want mainline Zelda games annualized. Not that I think that's what Nintendo meant anyway. I would, however, be totally down for Majora's Mask for Breath of the Wild sequel, prequel, whatever, in the game, on the same engine with a whole different story. To answer your comment challenge for that game, the main change I like for the addition of more individual themed dungeons. I honestly love the shrines and made sure to find and complete all 120 of them. So I don't feel like I was robbed of dungeons in that way. But there's something to be said for 8 to 10 different closed off, fully themed areas where you spend a decent chunk of time trying to work, puzzle your way through. Those just become more memorable to me. They could be optional but rewarding. I could go on, but I won't. Great thoughts, AJ. A final addition. I loved your idea of waking up in the big bad beginning of the game. I mean, this is the sort of thing that happened in Majora's Mask. You didn't wake up Skull Kid, but you were first to stumble upon him, so you feel a connection and incentive to fix it yourself. There's always a disconnect between quick, fix the world ASAP versus wow, I'm collecting so many stamina mushrooms, which Majora's Mask fixed in a slightly annoying way, but it would be nice if the sequel touched on it a bit too, and the narrative wasn't asking me to rush whilst the game suggested contrary. And that's also a good point that you mentioned in the video as well, and I'm glad he brought up. Yeah, like, you can't, this is impending doom. This is serious. The world is going to blow up. Oh, look at this horse over here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I couldn't really, like, drive the point home where, like, Zelda's not, like, it doesn't have a monopoly on that idea, like every open world game in existence is like that, where it's like, oh my God, we're in a nuclear fallout. You got to save your kid or find your dad, like all that stuff. But right. Do all this other crap though, like, and in a way they kind of they don't have to do that in terms of the story, but they the existence of an open world game makes it imperative to give people a lot of stuff to do in that world, or else why have that? Why have this big open world if you're not going to give people a lot of things to do in it? If you're going to try to hold their hand through it, it's kind of like you might as well make the game linear. It'll save you a lot more effort.
Right.
So and at the same time, like the desire to have a big grand story that's memorable and stuff like that kind of like forces them to have some level of linearity, because like you can't control the story and also have the player control their experience. Like it just doesn't really work that way unless you spend like crazy amounts of time developing all types of like different scenarios for like what if they did X, Y, and Z, which you can't really ever actually solve for. Like there's no way that they can say like, okay, this is how AJ played this game, you know, like
you can't break that. You can't quantify how many different variations and different ways in which somebody, because like we're all stumble upon things in different ways, try different things, and it's like that's just too many variables to account for,
right?
It's
to like account for in like an intimate way, because like I said in the video, I think Breath of the Wild did a decent job at like not forcing you through the story narratively, or not narratively, but like physically to get to the narrative, where it's like you can still do whatever you want, right? And then you'll eventually stumble into what the story is. The problem though is like there is this disconnect of like I can stumble into the story, but the story is telling me not to do that. The story is telling me, all right, get to the next thing, you know. You gotta begin and you gotta do it. But for me, it was like there's no point where that really breaks the game in the like in a literal sense of like you're always going to progress even if you don't look for the waypoints, because just exploring the world of like, ooh, what was that, is going to push you into a cutscene at some point, you know. Like that happened to me where the first divine beast that I beat was the one with the like the Zoras, and I just ran into the prince, what's his name, Sai something, I forgot his name, but I ran into him. And he's like swimming in an ocean. I'm like, what the heck? What are you doing? He's like, oh, follow me here. I'm like, okay. You know, like, and that just like, that's what propelled me forward. Not because I saw a waypoint on the map and moved towards that. It was just like, I just was climbing up something. I saw some type of beast or something, and I followed after it. And then I ran into this dude, and then he derailed me into what the main story of the game was.
Yeah, that's and that's the kind of experience that I feel like this game would, you know, it's best suited for, like as far as, you know, you stumbling upon things like that and then being led into in versus like, all right, I'm gonna just follow this path here on the waypoint, and you know, which is very typical for a lot of open world games. It's like, okay, here's objective over here, you know, side quests sprinkled throughout, but I mean, you know, whether you do those or not, I mean, that's up to you. And, you know, they really have no merit to, it's just a lot of padding for the most part for a lot of the games. But, Breath of the...
And that's why I think that given like this existing conflict makes it even harder. Where it's like, if you are the cause of the conflict, then it's easier to like develop the story around you. But again, then it makes it hard because it's like, well, what if I don't play in the way that will create a conflict? Then you got to like solve for that. So it's like, it's hard. It's hard. Game development's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. So go back into I want to go back into Parker Law's comment just a little bit before we move on. When he goes, he says, I would by no means want to see a mainline Zelda game annualized. No, I don't think that's not what they meant.
Yeah. No.
It's definitely going to be. There's a lot of material and content to work with as far as, okay, we can redo this.
It's Mario. It's like you talk about all the time how it's like, why can't Star Fox beat Mario? Where it's like Mario has Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Super Mario 3D, Super Mario 2D. You know, like all these different branches. That's like there's nothing stopping them from making high quality games in these different sub series. I think that's what they're going to do with Zelda, where it's like they'll have the 2D Zelda games and 3D Zelda games and the remakes, and then maybe they'll try some like off the wall weird stuff like the crossbow training or like the Musou games, Warrior, like Hyrule Warriors and stuff like that. Rather than like, all right, Breath of the Wild 2 is in 2020, and in 2021, Breath of the Wild 3.
Breath of the Wild 3,
like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, I'd like to see more Toon Link stuff. That'd be cool. Seeing more.
Yeah, like another like game in the Wind Waker, like.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Part of the timeline.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Broken Fiction. The dragons. They were a huge presence in Breath of the Wild for me, and there was a lot of mystery around them. Also, discovering Nadra, the one possessed dragon, and having that fight was personally my favorite moment in the game. Actually, more of those huge world fights and much more variety with them in general is what I want most of all. Talus, Hinox, Majuga, Linnell, and Nadra are good start, but I want more, much more bosses and more enemy variety in general.
Yeah, that was like a huge boon for Breath of the Wild for me too, where it's like these crazy like, and I wish that they like did more of like the Molduga or however you, I don't know how you say that.
Right, yeah.
That one where it's like the desert snake giant sea beast thing. Like how it kind of feels like it takes place in the area that you're at rather than like it's like this environmental battle versus just like, oh, it's this random like high level AI that you ran into or whatever. Like it's not just like a regular NPC. It feels like a actual boss within the world, right? I wish that they did more environmental things like that. And like he said about the dragon that you had to take out that's possessed or whatever. That kind of does that too, where it's like it progresses throughout the world, you know, like it doesn't just take place in this one isolated part of it. It moves throughout, you know?
Yeah.
I like that, and I wish that they did more of those too. I should have talked about that. I mean, I could probably return to that eventually, but
I like Linnell's like the
Lionel's.
Yeah, I like the centaur.
Yeah.
Freaking, that's dope.
I definitely like that's another part of like that I want to touch on more, but like the enemy variety is lacking in Breath of the Wild too. I definitely think that's something that needs to be focused on too.
Gazentia Fox needs to be focused on. I want the concept of Terry Town expanded on and explored more. And I want and expanded upon as you progress in the quest. You can physically see the impact you're making on the world around you. Ideally in something a bit more intimate, Majora's Mask style, and where things don't have to be done in a set order, but I want to see an expansion of the concept shown in Terry Town. Terry Town?
Yeah. So did you do that side quest?
No.
So it's basically this thing of like this developing town, and he's like, "Hey, find me this dude that can do X," you know. And it's like it all builds out into like at the end of it. I think this is the last part of that quest is you like watch this wedding between this dude and like somebody that you brought to the town, and I'm pretty sure this is where you buy your house in that town too. So yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that like changes as you continue through the quest. So yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying. Like if they cycled, if they like centered the entire game around a concept like that, where it's like you do these small things and it has like an impact on the world that like reverberates throughout the rest of it, that would be pretty dope.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Because it'd make everything feel like you feel like, okay, this is meaningful. What I'm doing has a purpose here, and this is, I'm literally seeing this take shape. Right. And that freaking those dopamine hits you like, oh man, look at this. This is rewarding. I'm getting this, Yeah,
it would be like a bigger version of like how people lose their mind at like if your footsteps are still in the ground when you walk away from them. Like if they keep rendered and saved in the game's RAM or whatever. Like being able to like impact that big of a thing. In comparison to like, oh, my footsteps are still there. Like, no, like that building that was at a result of me saving this person is still there, and it does X, Y, like that. That would be really cool.
I don't even have to say it. Christoph Sklasky, whatever. Sorry. What if I want? What I want from the next big 3D Zelda game are better side quests. For me, the main story of Breath of the Wild was good for what the game wanted to be, and it wanted to be wide open. Of course, this meant the story sometimes were a little bit lacking, but they could easily make up for it if they put more attention to the side quests. Most of them were simple, repetitive fetch quests. If side quests and their own little stories had their own little stories, it would make it it would easily make up for what the was lacking in the main quest.
That's true. That's a good point. That kind of continues what Gazentia Fox was saying. And I think there's like little glimmers of like super special moments, and like Eventbrite is another side quest that's pretty dope. Stuff like that. Yeah, I agree. More of that stuff. There's already stuff. I can make a whole nother Breath of the Wild video. Like, all right,
there you go.
I can see it now.
Yeah, you can save it for like next month.
Yeah, I'll do it like freaking a long time from now.
Michael Mulligan says, if they make it similar to Breath of the Wild in terms of go anywhere, climb anything, etc., one way to mix it would be to incorporate floating islands and bring back everybody's favorite sub-weapon, the good old hookshot. Imagine Link swinging around under the floating island a la Spider-Man, shooting out from the edge of the tower or mountain to snag the island it passes by. They'd revolve around the map like clouds, not just stay in one spot, or use it to gain elevation when climbing and paragliding aren't enough. Adding the ability to climb under things can add a lot to the game and make it feel different enough from Breath of the Wild's traversal without making them alter the overall mechanics and physics too much. Plus, adding floating islands to the world allows them to add all sorts of stuff on the island itself, maybe even in the island, such as caves, tunnels, even temples and shrines. Each island could have a little challenge of some sort, or just a treasure chest, or just a rupee and a Korok seed. Either way, but either way, it'd be neat to see. Also traveling underwater, but that's an idea for another day. I definitely agree with the having floating islands in the sky. That'd be just awesome.
Yeah, that would be like Just Cause levels of like crazy like trick shot sort of situations, you know?
Yeah. That takes me back to the temple, the sky temple of what was that? Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess, yeah.
Yeah, that takes me back to that. So I like that whole idea. That was cool. That's actually one of my favorite temples in that game. But yeah, if not my favorite. But yeah, that'd be awesome to see. And plus, it would just give you like man, I'm on top of the clouds, and I could swing around at the hookshot. That'd be a cool way to traverse through the world. I could actually see that working too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
just combining all that together.
I would definitely be down for that.
Yeah. So, I you know what else I'd be down for? If people gave Sonic the movie, all right, they gave the 2019 Sonic movie room to breathe, room to grow, and just can we see a trailer before everyone throws everything at the wall? Okay, so what do you like takeaways from my video yesterday?
All right, so something that people were commenting on the podcast and like that people said to me and stuff like that is they were laughing at like my reaction of like, and I'm sure that was their initial reaction too, of you being like, I don't know, maybe this movie would be good. We're like, what? Are you stupid? Yeah. But like, to be fair, like you did have that's a good point that like we haven't seen the movie. It could look, visually it could look terrible, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the movie will be bad.
Right.
I think that the problem here is that it's like come with your best foot forward sort of situation where it's like I knew from the jump that the PlayStation Classic was going to be stupid because how they announced it was here's these 5 games, and these 5 games are like meh, like there's a couple games, like there's 2 games that they announced or whatever that a lot of people are like, oh right. Yeah, Tekken and Final Fantasy is pretty cool, but there was nothing on there. I was like, oh, okay, like these are the iconic games, like this is why people own this. So like it's kind of in that same way where it's like if you're confident about something like that, you come like Pokemon did with the Detective Pikachu. They didn't just show us a picture of Detective Pikachu. They gave us a trailer and said, here's what this movie is, here's the tone of the movie and stuff like that.
Right.
We don't have that. I think that their social media, it gives me hope, and it's not in a positive way. Like it gives me hope that that the movie is not what we think it is. Because how they're trolling us, or seem to be trolling us. I think that Sonic doesn't look like this, or there's a chance that Sonic doesn't look like this, and they know that we would hate it. So they're like, that's what they're getting like people all riled up for about the movie, and then they want to be like, okay, here's the real thing, and it looks a lot better than.
Yeah, and you know, I want to speak to that in more depth because like they're definitely doing themselves no favors with that. You know, like even if it is a troll, I mean, like okay, but a troll for what purpose? What?
Because that's on brand for them. I think that if they were to do that, like I would embrace it more than I would if this was actually the thing. you know,
there's a lot of snarkiness that comes from like you know Sonic's like Twitter, like you know he has a lot of like they you're right, they do like these little like blurbs of like humorous, you know, type of releases, and every tweet is like
and they poke fun at like you know like the OCs and like the Sanic and like you know like all that stuff. That I mean that would be a good way to be like, you thought this was Sonic? No, this is Sanic. Here's the Sonic. You know, like
it's kind of bad that it's like okay, let's argue and say that is the case, or this is like one big troll, and they're playing into the narrative. Okay, people are going to hate this. It's like why play into it? Like you know why is that your okay? Let's play into the people who are going to hate this because you know Sonic gets a lot of hate. Like I don't know. It's kind of.
I mean, you got to play with the cards that you got, you know. People already were going to be like skeptical of this movie, and I think that what you said about the Pokemon comparison, I don't agree with it on the whole because I think that really they were risking more by being something that's like so beloved and like so many people have this like very specific vision of what it should be.
You talking about Pokemon?
Yeah, the Detective Pikachu movie.
Yeah.
And then they came out with this thing, and for the most part, people embraced it. I think that it wasn't because it's like, oh well, it's Pokemon, and we got so many good things, so we'll embrace this thing that we don't like. No, I think that people genuinely liked it, and I think that Pokemon, the designs are faithful to what the characters look like. Like even considering the whole thing of like, oh, these characters have fur and we're not used to seeing them with fur. We have seen Pokemon with fur. Like Pikachu has fur in Pokken. Lucario has fur in Pokken. You know, true. Like even Charizard has scales in Pokken, but it's just not as detailed because it's not real, you know? But with Sonic, it's not just a thing of like, as far as like what we're seeing with this, it's not just grounding what his design is, you know, like you said, like about the knees thing and like how muscular his legs are, like that made sense. But at the same time, you gotta kind of like cartoonize it a little bit, like you know, like it makes sense that Goten and Trunks have muscles, but they don't look like Broly. You know, like I don't think that he needs to.
So you're saying like be like okay, it's okay to have like realistic features, but be realistic to your world as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like you gotta like find some type of compromise between that. Like I think that separating his eyes to a point makes sense because like his eyes being one, like him having one giant eye is weird, and it will look weird. And
it's something that we like generally accepted. Like okay, whatever. But I will come out and say like obviously the whole like the meme where he's holding like our thumbnail essentially. Those legs, that's definitely a troll. I just feel I'm like okay, like there's no way his legs are that beefy. You know, I think that's definitely an exaggerated version of what we're actually gonna get. But you're definitely right. I think like, and that's the whole thing about it. You know, it's like. I'm over here like, okay, but let's wait till the trailer. But it's like they could have just dropped the trailer. They could have like, you know, they could have just did that, and that way, you know. But
because for me, like I wasn't ready to like I know a lot of people are ready to declare that this is going to be the worst movie ever and blah blah blah. But for me, it's like I'm not excited for this movie now, like because of how they teased this. It's not a thing of like, oh, I think this is going to be bad. It's just I don't think that this is going to be good, you know. And I think that those are two very different things. With Pokemon, they came with something that's like I can see how this movie is going to be good, and it's not just of like, oh, I like the designs of these. Like, no, it looks like a genuinely entertaining movie from the trailer that we got, and there's no reason to like believe that with the what we have from Sonic right now.
Somebody asked me in the comments, they were like, you know, and this is not something I pulled for the I'm just bringing it up. They were like, did I read the plot of the movie? And I wasn't even aware that that we were even that far ahead.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was just going off of the initial, like, people going like, okay, this design sucks. The movie, I don't know, like, you know, Jim Carrey's Eggman, what's going on? Like, even me, I was like that's an eyebrow raiser, you know.
Yeah.
So just off of that strength, I actually didn't go into like okay.
Yeah, like you weren't like scouring Deadline and stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Exactly.
You didn't become a movie buff all of a sudden.
Yeah. Exactly. So I wanted to address that comment there.
Yeah.
All right, but I guess speaking about comments, I can get into what you guys had said about comments, and we're gonna start off with Sam. Sam Diaz. He joins the streams every once in a while. The All Might. He says Logan always has the dopest background music in his vids. Also, what do you think of a live action Okami movie? I think the scenery would be amazing. Actually, did reply to this on the video, but not the video, but the comment. I think that'd be awesome, but it's something that had to be so like. Just that art style for Okami would be, this is a very interesting idea, but they'd have to nail that. They'd have to get that,
yeah,
and they have to get that like that timeless tone to it as well, because that's what the game has in itself. Like that game's never gonna look bad.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So,
that's true.
So in order to put that in a movie, it's like,
yeah, I mean. At that point, I don't think you can do live action for Okami. Like, live action for Okami would be weird. They got to do, like, a Into the Spider-Verse sort of, like, art style with that.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
I don't really know that much about Okami as far as, like, the narrative of it, so I'll be down for that.
Me neither.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't have, like, that sort of attachment that kind of kills a lot of video game movies where it's like, that's not like the game I experienced, you know, where it's like, I don't have that baggage. So, like, as long as they tell a good story, it's like, it would be serviceable for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm in the same boat, honestly. Dutchy Dirtbox says, which is a funny name, I think the fact that the movie is live action and not fully animated is the main reason I think it's going to blow. I don't get the reason we need to have a realistic video game characters at all. I wasn't asking for a realistic Pokemon, but I was pleasantly surprised with how it managed to stay true to the design of Pokemon, while also being more realistic. It's not like they gave Pikachu a rat face. If they did the same for Sonic, then I'd be okay with that. I honestly don't like or dislike the leak image. It's just kind of there. I still think he should have his gloves and socks, or at least his iconic shoes. When that first trailer drops, it better be really damn good, or I'll just skip the movie entirely.
The shoes thing is real dumb. I hope that's a plot. I hope that's a plot thing. I really do. I hope that he found those shoes and like, let's put you in some better shoes, because like those ones suck. Because they could freaking make better like approximations of what his shoes look like. As far as like I don't know why movies need to be live action and stuff like that. Live action movies just do better generally. They're like more people go out to see them. Like there are exceptions to that rule. Like the Into the Spider-Verse is a current exception. But for the most part, like live action movies just get more people excited. And I think that legitimizes it more if you put like a lot more attention into making that work. And it's kind of less of a cheat code, like it's easy to make an animated movie look the way that everybody expects it to. But when it's a live action movie, I think that takes a lot more attention to detail and like care to do right.
Yeah, I totally agree. So the fact that they're putting all this behind it, and
don't get me wrong, I don't know how much they're putting behind Sonic, but I think that if they do it right, it would be impressive. It doesn't look like they're doing it right though.
They're gonna drop this so much better.
Yeah.
Jordan DeBest says he doesn't look that bad. It could be a decent movie. I don't think it would be amazing. I think it would be on like a this movie is fun type feel, but not the best kind of like Ready Player One. Most studios don't push bad movies anymore. The ones that do lose tons of money. There are bad movies out there, just less of them because the public became smarter on what movies to go see, so studios can't be as lazy.
I
disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I do believe bad movies get pushed still, And
look at DC. The majority of their output is not good.
I was just gonna say,
and those are hundreds of millions of dollars. Like Justice League, it's like a $400 million movie.
Shoot, freaking Venom was a movie that's it's now Venom's not a bad movie per se, but is it it's definitely pushed to be like this Venom. This go see this movie, and this is like meh.
It's like it exists,
It's there,
and for a movie with that type of budget, like that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Like that's like a double A. Like that's like a let me try to think of it. I was about to say Okami because Okami is like in that realm, but Okami is not like a meh, but like as far as budgetary like constraints go, like that's on the level of like a Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, right? It's like a double A game. It's not a freaking like Batman Arkham Origins or Asylum or anything like that. Like it's not this crazy like production like Justice League is, where it's a freaking $200-400 million movie. So for a movie to even be like, that was fun, like I don't think that a movie that costs that much money is allowed to be fun,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like this. It's like the whole freaking like when Destiny first dropped, they put all that freaking money behind it, and the result was just. You can't fund that thing like that. It was $500 million.
Yeah.
And who's playing that now? Like, it's crazy.
Dan.
It's ridiculous. Oh man. Oh jeez. Parker Lot goes on to say, I think your point about the realistic look of Sonic not being able to ruin the movie is honestly spot on. By itself, it can make his look awkward, but the audience will get used to it in time, and the rest of the movie will stand on its own. What is perhaps concerning, however, is that the design, and Sega's reaction to it, seems to show that the studio obviously isn't trying very hard to make sure that the Sega team is pleased with aspects of the movie. This could absolutely be fine and make for a great movie, or it could mean that the movie team thinks they know what's best all on their own and should be seeking some extra insight. But here's hoping for either a great movie or a train wreck.
That's true. That's a good point. It is like that's usually what I look for with Sonic games. It's like I hope this is either really really good or really really bad. Because if like I can get content out of really really bad, I can't get content out of meh. Like that's why I didn't make the Sonic Forces video, because like it's not like the worst game to ever exist, but it's not a good game either. But for what was I about to say? The whole thing. For me, that pushed this over the edge of like I really don't care about this movie is the fact that, like he said, like people on the Sonic team were like, nope. Like the best responses from them, like like the most like diplomatic, were like, well, that was a interesting choice. Like none of them were like, man, like I really like the direction that they're going in with this. And that's not ever a good sign.
That's true. That's not a good look at all. It's really not. I feel as though, and that's true. Like that's why you can't really lean one way or the other. As like, this is gonna be so big, but that is true. That is not a good indicator to go forward on. And man, I really hope this movie's good. But like I said in the video, time will tell. Yo, do you like my little warning in the video?
Yeah.
I was like, people probably gonna be triggered. I was like, warning, put the scary music in there. I was like,
I feel like we gotta do that more often.
Yeah.
Because that's like always the case. It's like sometimes though I wouldn't even be able to do it because like I'll make a video and I think this is perfectly reasonable. There's no way people would be mad at this. And then it's like I freaking upload. It's like, okay, well, I didn't know that was going to be a reaction, but
it's weird because the videos I go into, this is gonna get dislike bombed, right? I'm thinking, I'm like people, they're going to tear this video apart. I'm over here defending a movie that and the like ratio is like, I'm like, wow,
like it's a normal like to dislike ratio, really,
right? And yet some of our videos, I'm like, What?
Like, yeah, where did that come from? You know, like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't expected you to get mad at that, but all right.
exactly. Like the Fortnite video. That was,
Yeah,
that was one of the ones
yeah.
I was like,
Both Fortnite videos. Every time we talk about Fortnite on either side of the spectrum, it's like you could say like, I appreciate this game and like it's doing some smart stuff. Everybody hates it. The other one was like, I don't think we really need it. Everybody hates it. You know, it's like, all right, well, that's weird.
Yeah, exactly. Ah, man. So we're nearing the end of the year of 2018, which is crazy to even think about. This year went by so fast. And a lot of people are going to be having their Game of the Year discussions. You know, as you know, the Game Awards just passed. But everyone has their own personal list. And you were a part of an article for OKBs.
Yeah, they did like this thing where they, you know, reached out to like their different friends and like they do game stuff, you know, work at whatever outlet or have their like Twitch channel, you know, different stuff like that. And they're like, hey, write an article of your 10 favorite games from this year. And I did that. And it's good. And you should read it. But I want to talk about your games of the year. And maybe not your 10. I don't know if you know your 10 favorite games, but let's go with your top 3 favorite games of this year.
All right, Smash, Spider-Man, and Octopath Traveler.
Boo. Is it in that order?
Yeah.
Are you saying, you're going 1 to 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 to 3, yep.
Okay.
Oh, you think I was going 3 to 1?
Yeah.
Oh, no, 1 to 3.
I was confused.
I would never disrespect Smash. Like,
yeah, how dare you? How dare you?
right? Exactly.
But a lot of people are like, it's just weird to me that so many people are like, I don't know, Smash Brothers can't be Game of the Year because like that's not really the type of game that gets Game of the Year. You know, it's like I legitimately saw people comment like, I'll probably play Smash Brothers more than any other game that I played this year, but it's not really a Game of the Year type of game. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's your favorite game of the year. It's the game you played the most, but it's not a Game of the Year type game. That's stupid. Go away from me.
That makes literal no sense. I don't get it.
It's like people have it ingrained in their mind that the only way you could be a Game of the Year is if you're this like third person action game. Like it's the only way that you can be Game of the Year. You have to be Breath of the Wild or God of War or whatever. You know, like that's the only type of game that's allowed to get Game of the Year, which is dumb to me.
Yeah, it's I don't get it. And speaking of things I don't get why a lot of these Q&As here about the same topic.
That's Bob's fault. Whenever Bob freaking like posts something that's stupid, a lot of people like really like jump on that and like, you know, like have a ball with it.
This man's over here creating a wave with his with his humor. All right, so Q&A segment. Bob says, "What is this rash on my back?"
I think that that's something you need to see a doctor about, Bob. I know that this line of work makes health insurance a pain, but you gotta figure it out.
You can't be flaring up in the morning. I don't know what's going on. Fred goes on to say, "Is the rash on Bob's back due to you knocking him on his ass all the time?"
Probably.
Grim says, "Why is it so easy for you to beat Bob in Smash? And does it have anything to do with the rash on his back?"
Most likely.
Yeah, definitely. When Bob hits the blast zone, the ripple effect of the animation, you know, that gets on his back, and I don't know.
So I kind of like, I don't know, like Bob has a vendetta against Dan now. Because every time I'm talking about somebody that I play in Smash Brothers that's like that I never played before, that we both know, like Blessing, I played against Blessing, and I was like, Blessing's pretty good at this game. I don't think that he's like, you know, like on our level, but he's pretty good. So I compared him to Dan. I was like, Dan, he's like around that level, and he's like, I don't like the fact that you compare people to Dan and not me.
That's funny.
And I was like, that's because Dan is better. Like I was like, the way I put it, I was like, he's at least two CPU levels higher than you are right now.
Wow.
Like,
So now you're creating conflict over here, weaving the
two CPU levels isn't that high though. Like
you're over there pulling the strings,
I'm just saying. So now Bob is like, I will destroy him. I was like, I'm just saying, like it's not like you're not like way worse, but you're just worse. It's like I will destroy him. It's like, all right.
Yo, look at this competitive spirit coming out. That's what Smash does to you. That's what Smash does to you. You're like, "Urgh, I'm taking on all challenges. Anybody who wants to get it. That's what it does. It really does that. Somebody goes on to say,
Grimhane is still Grimhane. These are all Grimhane. Okay. Grimhane took over the rest of the Q&A.
What console do you think, quote unquote, won 2018? Is that even a question?
By virtue of the fact that I didn't really care to play anything on any other console other than Spider-Man, I'm gonna have to say Switch. But as far as like in the eyes of everybody else, probably PlayStation. PlayStation had a lot of good stuff this year, like God of War and Red Dead Redemption and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they can.
They
can definitely afford to take this little break from E3 next year, which is very interesting. I want to see what their future plans are, but time will tell on that. What's your favorite game of 2018? And we already covered that.
Yeah, excluding Switch games and Spider-Man. Have you played anything else? I played the only other non-Switch. Well, I played and then was that this year? I don't know if that was this year or not. No, I think that was last year. PUBG was last year, wasn't it?
I think so. I think that was when it came to consoles.
Man. Well, I can't say that. That was pretty much, well, other than that and Fighters, which now is a Switch game. So it's like, I don't know, man. I only stepped away from my Switch a couple times. And it was for Spider-Man, Red Dead, didn't end up liking that.
I'm trying to think. Because literally, like, I love my PS4, but it's been nothing more than a, like, Crunchyroll, Funimation type of broadcaster. It's all I've been using it for.
I haven't even been doing that.
That's literally it. So I mean, outside, I haven't played any of the, I haven't played Red Dead yet, which is I know it sounds crazy to people. It'd be like, what?
I mean, it doesn't sound crazy to me. It didn't grab me. It really didn't.
I just feel as though like I knew Smash was around the corner, and I was like, okay, am I really gonna, I mean, I've sunk a lot of time into Smash Brothers, right? Yeah. So I'm like, do I really feel like I want to like dive into this world and get invested like that and put all this time into it? I was like, man, Smash is right around
For me, it's just like I feel like Red Dead is not the game for people that like have time constraints. If you can, like, if it was just a thing of like you clock out and you're done and that's all you have to do. It's just you go to work and you're done, and you don't have the fanatic stuff to do, like, and you have hours upon hours to just dump into something. That's who Red Dead is for. I don't think that Red Dead works for like the type of schedules that we have, where it's like I have 3 hours to do this, and Smash Brothers works for that, where it's like I have 3 hours right now to just play Smash, because it's a pick up and play thing. You don't have to like reorient yourself and like remind yourself of where you were, and you need to get immersed in all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
It's just playing Smash,
It's like and that's kind of like where I was with where I am with Persona 5, and it's funny that like we bring in Smash because freaking my boy Joker's in the game. But anyways. That's where I'm with that. Like, I'm 90 hours into that story, ladies and gentlemen. But I still have not. Well, I'm not gonna say into the story, but I'm into that game. My one playthrough, and I've not finished that game yet. And I'm still. But it's the same thing, because like a lot of time has elapsed. I love the game, but a lot of time has elapsed since I last played it. I gotta go back and read like journal entries to keep up with the story beats, and it's like. It falls in that kind of line. It's like, okay, I have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of YouTube things to do, and I'm like, okay, I don't really necessarily want to. I don't want to restart it because 90 hours, man, that's freaking crazy, But at the same time, it's like,
I feel like it's gonna end up coming to Switch, and you're going to restart it there, and that's going to be
absolutely. Listen. Absolutely, and I'm making a Persona video that week. I'm like, this is freaking, because I'm like, Persona 6.
Who makes the game again? Atlas. I'll hit up Atlas and see if we can get a copy. I don't know if Nintendo's publishing. Nintendo might be publishing something like that, I'd imagine. But
freaking crazy.
I'll hit them up and do like because I don't care about that game. If they
No. If we get that, you're playing it because I already played it on. I mean, obviously the Switch is gonna be free, but I want you to experience.
I just don't
experience.
But
you know what we can do? We can play that on that can be like a stream.
That could be like a continuous like stream
right. And then that way we can both freaking. You're like, you're like, bro, you're right. I'm like, yes, I know. On a channel level, are there any new and exciting changes you have planned that you can tell us about now? And if so, what are they?
Immediate future. I told you about this, Grimhane. Obviously, you should know about this, but Twitch. I think we're gonna try to focus our streams more on Twitch because it gives people more options to if they want to support us but can't financially or even don't want to directly financially, they can do things like like get bits like passively through watching ads or whatever, or like the free Twitch Prime sub. It gives people that option to do that. Plus I know that like that opens us up to like broadening our audience with people that aren't like heavy on YouTube currently, but like will discover us through Twitch and say, oh hey, I'll check out your YouTube thing, and then that'll help us in that way. Plus it gives us another outlet if YouTube blows up and we can freaking post stuff there. Aside from that, you want to talk about that?
I was gonna talk about directly.
Yeah. That's what
okay. Which is funny enough because technically, saying that you speak on a channel level, since this episode is going on directly to you, in the future we're going to make this channel more of these are like more like personality driven content. It's like you guys get to see our like things like that. Streaming events or things like that. It's like you get to see us more outside of like a scripted. Here's
like reaction videos to think like just sort of situations. Like our quick thoughts on if we go to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That doesn't really fit into directly to you per se currently because it's not a Nintendo thing. And it's not a game. So it's like just stuff that like we care about that's not necessarily like laser pointed to what our show is or what any of our videos will touch on. We can like leave here. And like this is just like our like personal channel as it were. For the people that like care about us enough to listen to us talk about Nintendo games for 2 hours.
Exactly.
I feel like that's a better audience for that than on Fanatics 4.
Right, exactly. Like you care about us this much, then you'll care about, chances are, hopefully, you'll care about our freaking opinions on different food choices. I don't know,
right?
Things like that, more broad stuff. And as far as the channel goes, well, I guess on a video level, I kind of did this video, but speaking of the Sonic video at the time of this recording, I kind of like wanted to implement more personality, like more jokes into my script, more like because like you mentioned to me before, it's like we've gotten so focused on here's the informative and they're good videos,
right?
They're very good videos, but at the same time it's like let me add some character in this.
Add more like where we because like when like our old videos like beginning like we put so much more like sense of humor into that, and like we're more, I don't want to say ourselves because we're ourselves in our current videos, but we like focus a lot more on getting the facts and just the facts, and I think that we can do more than that and make our videos more like
because
tailored to us.
And that's what people that's what people want to love. That's what people want to keep subbing for us. But like, I miss the comments like, "Man, you're hilarious,"
Yeah.
I miss those comments. So I think coming back to that would be awesome. All right, freaking next point the Grim made. Will AJ ever be able to consistently beat Logan in Smash, or given Logan having an arguable leg up from never getting rusty and AJ having a mountain of games facing him in 2019, will Logan continue to get the best of AJ? Gotta keep it fair. Can't always pick on Bob. And I'll add Dan into that as well.
No, he was saying because everybody was saying the
Oh yeah.
but yeah, like I mean, I never had a question. I don't even back then, like when like with those Smash 4 matches, I never felt like you were the problem. And no offense to you, but I always felt like I lost because of me, you know, like, oh man, I missed this, I missed that, oh man, I dropped that combo, oh man, I didn't press this here, oh, I pressed the wrong button. It was never a thing of like, oh, you got so much skill and I don't know how to defeat you, you know. It was just a thing of like, I'm so rusty at the timing of this game, and every time I do play it, I play it with like crazy amounts of lag because that's just how Smash Wii U was online, and it's the only time I actually played it. But here it's like I'm regularly playing this game in all different types of scenarios, so it's like I'm used to it with lag, I'm used to it without lag, I'm used to it local. I'm like, so I think that given that it's never going to be a thing of like I'm never going to be able to beat Logan in the way that I beat Bob or Dan because we've never been like that, and that's why.
It's never going to be like a thing where I completely wash you. Yeah. So it's like it's not
because even when I'm rusty, you weren't like 3-stocking me. You know, exactly. Even then, it was like still and
like at our best for Smash, like period, like overall we're even. So it's like you'll and there might be days where like you get a consecutive string, like you could like win like 3 matches and I got like 1, you know, or something like that. And that's just really what it is, and you know, it's not like a thing where it's like, oh, because even in Smash 4, it's like you know, we kept saying like I played that game so much, right? You know, and
I didn't even touch it. So it was like it's the same thing of like Smash Brothers will never be Pokemon, right? Or Dragon Ball Fighters, where it's like, oh, we're not even going to bother with that because we know what the situation is. You know, like we're not even going to make this thing of like who will win. You know, like we're not even going to play that because it's not interesting seeing the same person win all the time.
See now the only 2 games that I'll say that AJ doesn't want to. He don't want it. The one isn't even a Nintendo.
I'm interested in what the other game is. I'm thinking Gears is the only one that is like you're not touching me. I mean, I'm not touching any Gears.
I don't think you want to see me in a Star Fox dogfight. I
don't know about that. We've never done that before, so that's kind of unsubstantiated. But as far as like documented like games that we've played together.
Oh yeah,
Gears is like the only game that's like I'm not going to beat you in Gears ever. But
it's true.
Every other game, it's like it's usually the other way around. Like Mario Kart, you're not seeing me in Mario Kart. You're not seeing me in Pokemon. You're not seeing like no multiplayer Mario game. I mean Nintendo game. Even Mario Party was getting smacked in.
Oh my! Oh wow! All right. I'm gonna give my Splatoon.
Splatoon is definitely like I didn't even want to bring that one up. It's like Splatoon is like again like that's another Pokemon. It's like nah. But one of these days, Fire Emblem will be multiplayer or whatever, and you'll destroy me.
See, there we go. See. I don't know. I think that's because you don't put a lot. You don't play Fire Emblem, so it's like
don't give me that out. Don't give me that out. I'm trying to give you one, and don't give me an out on that. You would destroy me in Fire Emblem. Period. Full stop.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Given Nintendo's unquestionable success with the Switch, do you think we'll start to see the fan-requested features start to pop up? Bluetooth audio support, the various media apps, and so on.
I think we'll definitely see the media apps. I think that they've already made that clear. That was part of their plan of like once the Switch is established as this gaming console, they're going to expand out from there rather than do the Xbox plan of the opposite of like we're going to establish this as an entertainment brand and then we'll expand it out from video games. I think we'll definitely see that. I don't know about the Bluetooth audio support. I don't know if they care to even do that.
That's right, Grimhane. Don't worry, you'll get your ESPN now. whatever.
You'll get your NHL app.
Yeah. Don't worry, your WWE freaking thing.
Right. You know, that wasn't even random. I know as a person that cares about his viewers that Grimhane is an NHL fan and he wants an NHL game, and I think the closest he'll ever get is an NHL streaming app. There you go.
There you go. All right.
Congratulations.
Ravix, what's your ideal Switch 2.0?
I want a bigger screen, but not like a iPhone 10s like situation where it's like it just increase the screen real estate rather than making the Switch itself bigger. I want, I don't know, like swappable like D-pads, like like the how they had that Xbox 360 controller where it's like you can like turn the D-pad and it like goes between like the circular like all one button sort of D-pad and then like the cross D-pad. Like I want them to do that try to figure out how to do that with the current like separated button D-pad and then like a cross D-pad. That would be cool. I don't know. Give me better battery life. I guess make the screen 1080p, but I don't care about that, if I'm honest with you. I don't know. Is there anything that you want in that?
I mean, I haven't even thought of it. I honestly haven't even crossed my mind. I'm just so content with the Switch itself.
Yeah.
I'm just like, at 2.0, just give me more games.
Yeah.
Just give me more games. I don't care what I don't. I mean, me personally, I'm just
That said, if they come out with another one, I'm definitely going to acquire it in some way. Whether it's the Nintendo provided or I just buy it and freaking.
Yeah, depending on what, like, if it's like, depending on what it is, I'm like, okay, I'll jump for this. But I mean, if not, I'll be like, but
if I'm being honest, the amount of like the difference that's necessary for me to buy another one is like it just needs to be visually different in some way. Like if it was just a bigger screen, I would buy it.
Yeah, because I mean that's something I see like getting used out of. It's like okay, I play this game in portable mode a lot, and we get a bigger screen out of it. Awesome,
right? But if it was just a thing of like, we addressed this like super like insular bug that 5% of users have, which 5% is a lot of people, like 0.1% of people have. Something like that, I wouldn't really care. But if it was like a big, like we doubled the battery life, like, oh yeah, you gotta get that.
Yeah. But all right. And speaking of things we gotta get ending this podcast because it is that was the last one. That was the last question that we answered in the Q&A segment. Thank you guys so much for being patient with these episodes, and they're continuous back and forth episodes. We're back in freaking session with these, so look forward to next Saturday when we talk about AJ's video about Yoshi. So,
I probably wouldn't talk about Animal Crossing. Spoilers.
Oh yeah, cool.
But
good deal.
Yep. Sounds good.
Since we're talking about 2019 stuff, Fire Emblem. I'm talking about Fire Emblem.
You probably should talk about Fire Emblem. I think they're having an event about Fire Emblem. But anyway,
yay, Fire Emblem.
Next week, we're probably going to talk about what we want for next year. That's probably what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Okay.
Bye.